All right, we're live.
Hello.
Sorry about that. I just had some issues because the internet is dumb. But it's okay because I fixed it now.
Good.
So today we're talking about the Book of the Unalive, also known as the Book of the Dead. Because YouTube doesn't like words like dead or death.
Yeah, for some reason, the Book of the Dead, an actual, thing in history. Can't say it.
Yeah.
Or at least can't have it in your title.
And there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff today.
I have skimmed the book, because I got access to it very recently. So I'm excited to learn about all the cool shits in this book.
Yeah, I also got the book recently. Devin owns like technically 90% of our Pathfinder books. But I do have almost all the PDFs, so it's all good. It's the book is actually pretty sick. I like how one of the first parts you get to is, well, one, talking about all the undead areas kind of in the in Galarian and in the Pathfinder 2e universe. And they also talk about fetishes, like the actual like object of fetish, which is it's a term used for like connections to life. And then like one of the first chapters as well, or one of the first sections, they talk about all the like various groups in Galarian that hunt undead specifically. Which some of these I didn't even know. Like I didn't know that the Nidalese actually had a specific force against undead groups. But it makes sense. Nidal is a part of like Chiliacs, essentially, which is, Hell Knights and devils everywhere kind of thing. And
Is that what the Hell Knights are from?
Yeah, Chiliacs, yeah.
Okay.
Nidal is like a allied nation, more or less. And it's a nation ruled by Zon Kuthon, which is a dark god.
That's pretty cool, though. That's a cool name.
It's really interesting. And there's a variety of places that, like, worship of anything other than Zon Kuthon is illegal. And it's a very oppressive government. It's not good. They also have the Shadow Knights as one of their organizations, which are a bunch of either normal individuals who have some necromantic power, or there's even like undead like Doulahans and such as a part of their like enforcement group as well.
Sounds like they're ripping off the Hell Knights.
No, not necessarily. They don't care about law and order. They care about worshipping Zon-Kuthon. The Hell Knights are just law and order. They are the infernal judges, the mercenary executioners.
And they are the coolest.
They are sick. The Hell Knights are the heroes that Gotham deserves. Because they would just murder the Joker and all the other villains outright. Like, oh, we're going to Arkham, right? No, you're going to hell.
It's just Peacemaker.
Yeah, pretty much. Only they actually go to hell. And then probably get conscripted into the Hell Army. So,
quite possibly, yeah.
The Devil's armies. Some of these backgrounds are okay. They do have Scion of Slayers, which means you were born into a lineage of undead slayers, which is pretty sick.
That's
actually
pretty cool. I'm super into that.
You get trained in strength or intelligence plus 1 free ability boost. You get trained in the athletic skill and undead lore. And you can cast Disrupt Undead as an innate divine cantrip. That's pretty cool. That's way stronger than a lot of them. But then again, the other ones give you skill feats. So
yeah. That is a cool background, actually.
That's a really cool background.
Every book has one background that I'm like, that is the coolest shit I've ever seen. I need to make a character around it.
Well, just wait, because there's more really good ones, actually.
Oh, fuck. Well, yeah, no, like it's pointed out, it's the Belmont background. That's why
Belmont background, yeah, exactly. There's also Willing Hosts. You speak to spirits only you can perceive, wispy shreds of lost souls, household guardians, ancestral spirits, and other entities. You can negotiate with these beings, allowing them to into your body to impart knowledge or aid in the task for a price or favor. You get wisdom or charisma plus a free ability boost. You get trained in spirit lore, and you gain the host spirit action. Where once per day, you can attempt a skill check to perform an exploration activity, even if it's normally requires you to be trained to do so. You're trained in the skill just long enough to make the check to a maximum of 10 minutes. Whether or not the check succeeds in the next 24 hours, you must perform a minor favor to appease the spirit who aided you, determined by the GM. Usually something sensation related, such as tasting a certain food, listening to a specific song, or smoking a pipe. You can't host spirit again until you perform the favor. If you haven't completed it after 24 hours, you become fatigued until the obligation is fulfilled.
Huh.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
A real cool character out of that.
That's really interesting, and I do love the whole idea that a lot of ghosts just want their favorite food, or they want their nicotine fix like one last time before passing on. I find that really interesting. And then there's Tombborn. Your parents conceived you for a fell purpose at a site tainted by death, like a White's Barrow, massive grade, or an ossuary. Their reasons could be a mystery, or you might know of their grand design and seek to escape or fulfill their plans. Either way, you're at your most dangerous when near death. You get a bonus either Dex or Con plus 1 free ability boost. You're trained in undead lore, and you gain the final spite reaction, which once per day, if you're reduced to 0 hit points, you make a strike before falling.
You know, I do love me some real tragic backstories like that. Oh my god, I could make such a cool character with that too.
You know, it's a sick idea. Now I'm thinking about it. Imagine a Guts reimagining, only rather than fighting demons and such, he fights undead.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately on board. That's probably what I'd make.
Tombborn sounds really good with that. Probably play a barbarian build.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, Tombborn, I mean, reflavored if you want to be Guts. I mean, he was literally born out of a corpse.
Yep.
So, like...
That's what made me think about it.
Yeah, you could totally make a cool character like that. Holy shit. Because that's also his thing. That's his thing. He usually gets the kill shot and then fucking tanks it.
And then passes out, like, immediately after, yeah.
Because he, like, decided, you know what? I'm just going to get stabbed in the midsection. Just cut off this guy's head.
I may get stabbed in the heart, but I'll be alive for 3 seconds to kill you.
Exactly.
That's a lot of how he operates.
Yep. I love that shit.
This book, so recently, one thing that's been happening for Devin and myself is we got back into, like, theory crafting Pathfinder builds again.
Uh-oh.
It's just been a recent resurgence of interest in doing so. It's not that I didn't do it. I've just been really busy with work, honestly. And recently, I swapped one of my characters over to a Magus build. And it's a really, really fun build. I gave Magus a lot more dynamics and a lot more, like, utility than normal, while still being a Magus and still can explode people. And so we just started talking, and we started talking about, like, oh, what about this build? Oh, but what about this build? Making builds in Pathfinder is legitimately entertaining.
It really is.
it's really fun to sit down and just theory craft different builds together. More so than other tabletop games. I've never really been someone to like theory craft character builds. Because like in Anima, it's literally you can make any character you want. It's not about using the system. It's just about having the idea. In D&D 5e, you don't get a lot of choices. It's just what classes you want to kind of mix together, which does make for some interesting theory crafting. But it's definitely a lot more limited. And then you come to Pathfinder 2e, and oh my god. It's just endless amounts of customization because they make every little thing of it interesting. The ancestries, what ancestries you pick. Not only is it just the ancestries either, the versatile heritages make it. There's so many different combinations. I have to say it's over 400 combinations with what they currently got of different ancestries and heritages.
I have the Path Builder app on my phone because it's Android app, and it is something I will do when I'm like stuck in a car, like with like very bad service. I'll just make characters. It is. I also am the same way. I'm not a guy who makes a lot of characters. I struggle with it, but making Pathfinder builds or trying to be like, all right, if this character existed in Pathfinder, what would their rules be? And then finding out these new rules, and I'm like, all right, how can I make a character that's like my take on a theme? Like using my new knowledge. Because every time I make a character build, I learn new abilities, and I'm like, holy shit, that sounds awesome. It's such a good time.
It's so good, and not only that, but... Sorry, 1 second. I didn't check my Twitch. Which is not a good thing.
Just seeing a man.
Yeah, Path Builder is phenomenal. If you have an Android phone, use Path Builder. It is really good because I don't like making characters by hand, like on a sheet. I find it really annoying and tedious. Path Builder makes it so like I can make a Pathfinder character, like level 1 Pathfinder character, like a few minutes. Makes the choice really easy. I would happily shell for that company. I do pay them money, like every month.
Yeah. No, I don't want to update my password. Dark mode! Dark mode! Okay. Alright, everything is in reset because I couldn't... Alright, everything... Alright. Yep, okay, good. I had to make sure that for some reason Alive or something didn't trigger Twitch's like terms of service and they didn't start airing the stream, because that does happen.
Oh, that's fair. I've had the Twitch window open, like in my second monitor.
But yeah, so not only are the ancestries interesting, I cannot tell you how many times I was inspired by a character build just from ancestry decisions alone. And then the backgrounds, and again, we just read over a couple backgrounds that could make whole ass characters. Then there's the classes, and ironically the classes are where you get some of the least like combinations, because most classes, like, they have maybe a subclass feature. Sometimes fighter even doesn't, but that's okay because feat choices, and your feat choices will make your whole character pretty easy. I would not say fighter as any lack of options despite having no subclass options. We were talking about Devon's character recently, and Devon's character is a cautious fighter character, and he's taken a little bit of bard dedication. He's taken some lore master dedication. He's got some archer going on, and eventually he's going to take staff acrobat. And he's just this elven warrior who uses a halberd type weapon. And if he's not using the halberd type weapon, he can just use a bow. And the crazy thing about the Archer dedication, which that video is coming out tomorrow, by the way, the Archer dedication allows you to have all weapons in the bow group for simple martial trained at your highest proficiency, just like the fighter kind of uniqueness, where once they get hit level 7, they get a master in like one weapon group. If you take Archer with it, you get 2 weapons in the master and eventually legendary group, which is he took with his fighter. So now he gets the pole arms and bows at that +2, you know, bonus to hit. And he's good at long range. He's good at recall knowledge checks. He's good at investigative kind of things. And when he takes staff acrobat, he's going to be able to use his halberd as a you know, an implement to leap further and attack people in unique ways. He's going to be a really strong, interesting fighter build that can do a lot of stuff outside of combat even.
That sounds like a really cool character.
It's a really cool character. I've complimented Devin many times on this character build because I find it super fascinating. In the same game, but in like a sub-arc we did, I made a dwarven inventor. And I was like, okay, I just want to make a sword and board style dwarf super tank who has a changing weapon. I kind of went Monster Hunter with it, honestly. And he turned into that. He was a big ass shield. He had lots of HP. And then he had this axe that could transform into a musket. So he could shoot people with it. And then the axe itself could do all types of damage. It could do bludgeoning, slashing, piercing damage. If he was flanking an enemy, the weapon had backstabber, so it did extra damage to enemies he was flanking. It could trip, shove, and he had the keen rune put on it so that if he crit on a 19. And he had extending on it so that he could smack an enemy from 60 feet away with it. And then I took also the Inventor feats to give him, because Inventor gets a really cool ability called Offensive Boost, where essentially they add an additional D6 elemental damage onto their weapon strikes. And I took the additional one that gave him more options so that as an action, he could swap the weapon's engine core into a different element and do up to 6 different, you know, elemental types of damages.
That is so fucking like Monster Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, and he had a shield. It was a reforging shield, so if it got less than half of its HP, it starts regenerating. And, yeah, he had a rocket boost so he could jump around. He had like a mega hit where he could smack someone with his axe so hard they got sent flying. Like, he was a really fun-ass character. I'm sad that enemies didn't target him nearly as much because he could take a lot of damage, and I took almost no damage in the entire, like, sub-arc. But that was a ridiculously fun character. Built my own charge blade. Hell yeah, that's exactly what I did. It is great. I love it. And hell, even my current Magus character, he's got like an elemental build. I took some witch dedication and he has elemental betrayal so that enemies take extra damage. Right now at this level, they take 6 extra damage from whatever element he dedicates. No save. They just start taking extra damage as if they had a weakness. And he does a bunch of elemental damage types. He has a cantrip of every element. And he also has Acid Arrow that he can Spell Strike with, which can really fuck people up. Acid Arrow is a really, really good spell. And then he has Wands, and he also has a Greater Staff of Healing on him so that he can heal the party because he has Trick Magic Item. He's a really well set up character.
I can imagine you've talked a lot of shop about the Magus specifically. I'm actually surprised you haven't like I don't think you've played it like before yet.
Nope.
Or you might have.
Essentially, last session was the first time I actually got to play Magus. I did play a session
Nice.
before, but that was just introducing the character to the group. That was it. Nothing else happened.
Oh, man, I need to get involved in like more Pathfinder games, especially like hopefully I could join another. But like so far one of the most fun Pathfinder characters I've played was definitely Calden. Because like once we got to a location where like I could do subterfuge, holy shit, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Because like I built him. I mentioned in the chat, like I built him because I was doing an Ezio build. I wanted to see what kind of rogues I could mess with because I hadn't looked into rogue at that point. And like honestly, he's like I'm just playing Hitman or Assassin's Creed. Like kill a guy, take his clothes, pretend you're him, to then like melding into crowds and like getting the assassinate, then leaving, like kind of deal. And also poisoner for flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh my god, he was so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, right? That's what makes Pathfinder 2E really good, is it makes other types of play more fun and interesting. It's not all about the combat anymore. You can get character builds that are designed for certain things. Subterfuge in Pathfinder is legit really fun because of all the feats you can get that can enhance it. And the character I swapped from was an inventor who I accidentally was turning into an assassin because I realized that he could use devise a stratagem to initiate combat, and as long as no one got found out before combat started, we could just keep rolling until he knew he was going to hit. And then we start combat off with a crit shot against one of the enemies. And he just learned how to dismantle. He just dismantled a gun, and he has the inventor feat. So he was going to start making his own guns and ammo. And another thing I found out, a really fun ability mix, is he had the barbarian dedication, actually, backstory reasons. But I took a feat where it's kind of like, I think it's called like Raging Finisher or something like that. Let me real quick. Oh my god, everything's gone. Oh god, swap me out of this. Put me back to the normal settings.
Well, I'll say by the time that was introduced, Devin, when I was playing Morgan, he would have been a Hell Knight Armiger because he was joining the Hell Knights for personal gain.
There we go. All right. Barbarian feats worked out, and where is it? Furious Finish, I believe.
Because remember, Morgan was totally down to just give up that mentor character. He had no like wish to keep on his good side.
But yeah, so for the build, right? He had the ability to rage, and then he had Furious Finish, which is you make a strike, you end your rage immediately, and if the attack hits, you add a circumstance bonus to the damage equal to the number of rounds remaining in your rage, maximum 10 if you do it right away. After the strike, your rage ends immediately, and you're fatigued until you rest for at least 10 minutes. Creighton could use devise a stratagem. If it was going to crit the enemy, he could then rage, and then Furious Finish them and add 10 extra damage to the shop, which would get doubled. So it was a really nasty, but he'd be fatigued. It would be a really strong finish, and then the rest of the group would have to handle everything else. But it was a fun build, and I found it completely by accident.
That's very common, I feel. Do you find something absolutely nuts, you're like, oh my god.
The only reason why I swapped out of the character was he was a very serious character, and the rest of the party is a little on the chaotic side.
Fair.
And I was legitimately just getting angry playing as him because he was just getting frustrated with everyone else because they're just doing weird shit. And I swapped to my new Magus character, Sloan, who, imagine Geralt, only mixed with a little bit of like southerner kind of like the imagine like a southern style like mountain man who kind of understands everything and understands how to survive but isn't good with people. That's kind of the character I made.
So even less, like more antisocial Geralt.
Yeah, pretty much. He has an infectious accent. Yeah, that's true. Well, he talks real low and he has that southern drawl to him that everyone else is like they hear and then they start doing it by accident.
Yeah. I have a buddy that when we were playing like one of our first campaigns together, he just for some reason like this type of person he is, like he will match the voice of someone he's talking to like subconsciously. Yeah. But mainly when playing like D&D. He doesn't do it in real life. But like in D&D it's like the I think he said it's like, oh, it's a thing of like I know I have to do a character voice or I should be. And so then the running joke just became his character is such a fucking weirdo that like because he was playing a gnome, like a gnome wizard, that like, oh yeah, he'll just straight up match your speech pattern, like and be very obvious about it, then switch, like look to someone else, copy their pattern, look back, go back to the original.
Yeah, it's
a weird fun thing.
Anyway, this has been a very long drawn out tangent for just how many fun builds are in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And this book adds so many more super interesting ones. They add some new magic items to the book. A lot of them are really, really cool. I like the whole bottled sunlight. That sounds like a really good item to have on hand.
Yeah, especially like fucking like undead killer. Just have a bottle of sunlight.
But what's really cool is the... Oh, they even give fun folk remedies that don't do anything, but they're just like, oh yeah, people believe in this kind of stuff.
Okay, that's really fun.
That's really cool. They talk about like, oh yeah, there's raven feathers. Bound into a miniature broom or bouquet, raven feathers are used for wandering Varishian caravans to sweep away any malign influence, including haunts and shades. Though effective when used by a witch or exorcist schooled in the proper traditions, they're useless in untrained hands. But you get the sense that you can imagine the various Varishian caravans have these feathers on like their various wagons, just kind of hanging on for no apparent reason, and it's the ward away, malign influence.
Yeah, fun like superstitions is always fun in a tabletop game.
It really adds immersion to it. You can understand where it comes from. But yeah, so what this book did, which again further adds to the need to theory craft, the archetypes in this book are sick. The Exorcist is really cool, actually. Essentially, they just collect spirits and can use them for a variety of effects. And if you kill undead, you can add their dregs of their soul to a lantern or some effects.
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
And use them. Yeah. They have an effect called Spirit's Mercy. Whenever you take positive or negative damage, or you take any damage caused by a haunt, ghost, or incorporeal undead, you use one of the spirit wisps or remnants that you've collected. You do start with a number at the beginning of the day too with this. You purify a spirit by having it perform a final act of mercy to lessen the damage caused by another spirit. This grants you resistance to the positive or negative damage. If you expend a wisp, the resistance is equal to twice your level. If you expend a remnant, the resistance is equal to 3 times the level of the incorporeal undead. So you can negate some damage. There's one where it's called Spirit's Anguish, where you can take one of the spirits and release them in a torturous manner to deal sonic damage to all creatures in a 30-foot cone.
Ooh.
So, you know, like, if there's a bad undead that you vanquish, you can torture their soul before releasing them, doing a big sonic attack. They have the Hallowed Necromancer, which I absolutely love this idea. I don't know why it hasn't been done sooner, because Necromancers, like, the whole point of Necromancy is control of death. So why has there not been any archetypes or builds for, like, Necromancers who are really good at dealing with undead in a positive way? The Hallowed Necromancer is someone who controls death, but for the sake of healing and banishing undead, they get things called sacred spells.
Holy shit, wait. Oh my god. I mean, keep going, but, like, I need to find this thing, because that's literally a character concept I was trying to get to work.
Well then, my friend, let me tell you, the sacred spells are really, really cool. So you add a set of spells to your spell list, because this is a dedication that pretty much gives you a new set of spells. You develop your own spellcasting style called Hallowed Necromancy. And you gain the ability to cast, is it a... You get a focus point, but... Oh, yeah, you gain the Hallowed Ground focus spell, which on a small space, one small space becomes inhospitable to undead as you fill it with life-infused benevolent energy. Each undead creature in the area takes a d6 positive damage and a d4 good damage when you cast the spell with a basic fort save. After that, the undead have weakness 1 to positive damage and your necromancy spells while in this area. And it covers a 10-foot burst.
Huh.
It also, the spell automatically attempts to counteract any attempt to raise undead in the area, which can be really good in some situations. And it's a focus spell which heightens with you, doing more damage, increasing the enemy's weakness to positive damage. I love the art they have for it. Here, one second.
It's such a cool picture.
It's a really good picture.
Let me get it set up. I had a character idea for a while of it's a guy who wanted to essentially be like the cleric archetype, but the problem was he just didn't have access to like magic education. So he learned how to heal by backwards engineering death. And so my problem was just a lot of necromancer stuff is just evil. Like, this isn't an evil character. He's trying to help people, but he does it through necromancy. Like, he's a doctor and like healer character, but uses necromantic powers because that's how he learned. Also, yeah, that art's so fucking sick.
It's so good. What I really love about the Mwangi Expand stuff is like the African culture stuff. They have some really cool garb and everything. I like how the magic staff has the glowing white lines on it too. Like, the sigils are glowing. I actually like the quadricolor kind of an ensemble here. Normally mixing all those colors together would be really rough, but this is done really, really well. Art's so good.
Paizo's fucking hard with their art.
They really do. And so yeah, the whole point of the Hallowed Necromancer build essentially is you're a necromancer who does the opposite. You reversed engineered necromancy for the sake of healing and whatever.
God, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, and the sacred spells are really cool. You add a bunch of spells to your spell list. These are all considered necromancy spells for you, and even if they are normally from different schools, you can either prepare these spells or add them to your repertoire, just like the spells normally on your traditional spell list. That's really good, because there's a wizard necromancy school that gets certain benefits for that kind of stuff. So being able to add extra spells to that spell list is really, really good. When you gain this feat, you can retrain existing spells or replace them with ones on this list. In addition, your knowledge of the conduits to the positive energy point allows you more flexibility with these spells. Choose one of these two benefits. If you're a prepared caster, you can spend 10 minutes to replace one of the spells you prepared with a spell of the same level from your sacred spell list, which is really cool. And you can even do this while refocusing your focus points, which is even better.
Yeah.
It allows you more flexibility in your spell list. Or if you're a spontaneous spellcaster with a signature spellcast feature, add 2 of the spells from the list of sacred spells to your repertoire. They are considered signature spells for you in addition to your normal signature spells when you gain the ability to cast new levels of spells. You can choose to switch the spells from this feat to any other spells from the list. That's really good. A sorcerer can add more signature spells, not change, add 2 more signature spells to their signature spell list.
That's so fucking handy.
And you even can get like advanced hollow spells. Consecrated aura is really good. Your body radiates positive energy, making your very presence disorientating to the undead and encouraging them to move away from you. The effect plays upon the instincts flowing through their bodies from negative energy and can thus affect even mindless creatures. You gain an aura of positive energy in a 20-foot emanation. Each undead creature that ends its turn in your aura must succeed at a will save against your spell DC or become frightened 1. A lot of undead are immune to this condition because they're mindless. Not with this aura. You can literally scare mindless creatures.
It's so hype.
A creature that succeeds on its save is temporarily immune for a minute. It's all really, really good. There's even the Soul Warden archetype if you wanted to have a more martial style character. The Soul Warden is essentially like a they consider themselves an honorary psychopomp, so they're working for like Pharasma in some capacity. They're helping move souls on from the dead. You can, with the dedication, you can take 10 minutes to emblazon at Pharasma's holy sigil a spiraling comet that represents the winding path that a soul takes through its existence, which that's not, I don't think, her normal symbol.
I don't think so. No, I played a character that was risen by Pharasma. That's I don't think it's their symbol.
Oh no, it is. It is.
Is
it's
it?
the swirly one, yeah.
Oh,
It just that's just not how I would have described it. You can see it on his shield in the picture. But you can emblazon this on a shield, tabard, banner, or other prominent object you wear or wield. The symbol doesn't fade until a year has passed, or if you swap it onto another object. This item becomes a religious symbol of Pharasma and can be used as divine focus while emblazoned. Means you can have a spell focused shield. That's really good if you need to use material components, because if you're using a sword and shield build, for instance, or even if you just have a cloak that you're wearing, it pretty much makes it so you don't have to be holding an object to use a spell focus, which is really, really good. Whenever an undead creature or captive soul is within 100 feet of this object, the spiral glows, shedding dim blue light in a 10-foot radius. So you have the Lord of the Rings stings effect, you know, when orcs are nearby, Orcbane.
Yeah.
When orcs are near, it glows. You have the same effect with your symbol. That's actually kind of cool. If the creature is hidden or the soul is hidden, it must succeed a stealth check against your perception DC to fool the sigil and prevent the spiral from glowing, which is kind of weird, but okay. In addition, you can disrupt undead as a divine innate cantrip at will. As normal, the cantrip is automatically heightened to half your level rounded up. You gain access to cast a spell activity if you didn't have it already. That's major. That's really, really good. Getting cast a spell activity is really hard to do unless you take very certain archetypes. Like Champion doesn't even technically have it cast a spell. They can just use focus spells.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like if a champion used like a Staff of Healing, for instance, they couldn't unless they had full magic item or trick magic item.
Oh.
This allows you to get by that, which is really good. And you become trained in spell attack rolls and divine spell attack rolls and divine spell DCs. Your key spell casting ability for this is Wisdom. When you have at least 2 other feats from when you have at least 2 other what's this? When you have at least 2 other feats from this archetype, the spiral glows with bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim in another 10 feet when the undead are nearby. Oh, so it gets brighter. Interesting. I like that. I like the implication that the more you dive into this, the more Pharasma's power you get, essentially.
I'm surprised it hasn't been a thing before. I haven't seen any feats that do that.
It sounds like such a good idea, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, more feats you get, there's a physical, show that you're actually investing in it.
Oh, and it has feats in its list specifically that require creatures or objects to be in the light of the spiral, so it actually extends your range another 10 feet for using it. That's really cool. That's pretty sick. Cycle spell. This is a really good one. Your devotion to the cycle of souls grants you an additional divine spell. Choose from Bless, Disrupting Weapons, or Heal. You must make the selection when you take this feat, and it can't be changed once per day while the spiral is glowing. So you have to be in the presence of some undead force. You can cast the selected spell as a divine innate spell. That's okay. It's not as it's not necessarily as good because you have to be essentially in the presence of undead to use the spell effect. But those are all really good spells. Bless is a really, really standard spell. It's really solid. Disrupting Weapons is good. Heal is okay. If it's level 1 heal, though, that would be kind of useless after a point. So I definitely take Disrupting Weapons or Bless more. You can get a Psychopomp Familiar with this one. That's really cool. And the Psychopomp Familiars are really cool because they're masked little entities. Your familiar becomes a masked Psychopomp, an extraplanar guardian of the cycle of souls. This familiar continues to use all the same roles as other familiars, but one of its abilities must always be speech, and it has the monitor and Psychopomp traits. As normal, when a familiar must have a certain ability, the speech ability counts against your familiar abilities each day. You can select 3 familiar abilities or master abilities each day instead of 2, but one of them must be the following abilities, so you get a slightly better familiar. Your familiar can have Soul Sight, which gives it Life Sense for 30-foot range. That's handy. Pretty good.
Handy.
And Spirit Touch. Your familiar can touch incorporeal creatures. If you have the Spell Delivery Master ability from your familiar, any spell that the familiar delivers with it gains the benefit of the Ghost Touch property rune, because you can't actually touch incorporeal creatures. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, damn.
They have a lot of other really good abilities as well. They have other abilities involving the spiral on their clothes. Spiral Sworn, for instance. You trace the spiral in the air while intoning prayers of Pharasma, getting her blessing for a time. For 3 rounds, your strikes and spells deal additional damage against undead creatures in possession of an imprisoned soul. Oh, so even like a necromancer could be affected by this. Or creatures you have witnessed, create, or command undead. Again, necromancers. You gain a status bonus to damage with your strikes against these creatures equal to the number of weapon damage dice. Spells you cast from spell slots gain a status bonus to damage against these creatures equal to the level of the spell. And this bonus applies only to spells that deal damage and don't have a duration. If your spiral is glowing, you can target a willing creature in its light. If you do, the creature gains this bonus instead of you. Whoa! I mean, the spiral is going to be glowing no matter what, because most of these things will trigger it innately anyway. And you can give either yourself or allies just extra damage when dealing with these kind of targets. That's really
kind
cool.
Of support.
This is a really fun one. They go with the classic, the Undead Slayer archetype. This one's even more martial than the last one. Your training has prepared you to recognize most undead on site. You become trained in 2 lore skills, each about a specific type of undead, or become an expert if you are already trained. You gain the Slayer's Identification free action. As a free action, when you roll initiative and you observe a creature you know is undead, you get a free attempt recall knowledge with a +1 circumstance bonus. If you're a master in the skill you're using to recall, you get a +2 instead. That's pretty good starting out. A lot of undead have very unique things about their anatomy that make them difficult or hard to fight. This is a really good way to identify those troublesome abilities right off the gate.
Always a boon, because yeah, they're fucking, some of them are weird. And like, it'd be handy to know a weakness like that before you charge in willy-nilly.
Oh my god. I found the perfect ability that's just has your name written all over, Alex.
All right, let's hear it.
It's called Frighten Undead. It's an action. It's a trained intimidation. Your very presence chills creatures of the night down to their core, and you can use the spiritual power and faithful life force of religious verses to frighten even mindless undead. Attempt to demoralize an undead target using your religion instead of your intimidation if it's higher. If you use your religion modifier, the demoralize action even works on creatures. If you use your religion modifier, the demoralize action loses the emotion and mental traits as your faith connects to the undead on an instinctual level, making you affect mindless undead.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's really cool.
I know Alex is the kind of guy who would love to walk into a room and have even mindless undead shrink back.
I want to play a paladin like that with the notoriety. Even the undead are like, I am mindless, cannot think, but I know to be afraid.
I am in the presence of something antithetical to what I am. I mean, even the guts build, right, that we were talking about earlier, undead guts build.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, dude.
Not quite the same as turn undead. This is one. It can't vaporize low level undead. First of all,
imagine though. Imagine.
I mean, there is a turn undead ability in the game already. I think it's a cleric one.
Yeah, but like imagine like you walk into a room and some shit skeleton's like and they just disappear.
That would be really good.
He's so funny.
Oh my god, this is so good. They get a feat called Gear Up, right? You gain Prescient Planner and Prescient Consumables. These are 2 skill feats you can get to essentially like buy things when you're out in the field. Like, oh yeah, I knew to do this, and it allows you to pretty much open up a shop like once per day or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get both of these skill feats with just this one feat, which is really good. When you use Prescient Planner specifically to pull out an item, you need to deal with an undead's weakness or vulnerability. You can pull out the item as a 2 action and activity to remove your backpack and draw the item rather than taking a full minute. So you can do this in combat, essentially. Because normally you have to spend a minute to do so.
Yeah.
If you have the Hunter's Sanctum feat, you keep your Sanctum well stocked with the basics and can spend 1 hour in your Sanctum refreshing your supplies in order to meet the requirements of Prescient Planner, even if you haven't been able to purchase goods. Essentially, this allows you to use it because normally Prescient Planner, you have to, it's like up to a week after you've been to a shop, you can use it. This just allows you to keep doing it. And Hunter's Sanctum, let's read that because that got brought up. You establish a safe house where you can prepare for your hunt. The Sanctum is roughly the size of a 20-foot cube. This Sanctum is in a location you have access to and can be a part of a larger structure, such as a basement of a temple or a hidden room of a library. Setting up or moving your Sanctum takes a week of downtime. Your Sanctum protects objects and people inside it from magical detection. and prying eyes of the undead. That's so cool. This has the effect of non-detection using your religion modifier as the counteract DC, and half of your level round up to the counteract level. Additionally, undead attempting to locate the entrance of your sanctum via mundane perception must succeed against either your religion DC or normal DC to find the sanctum, whichever is higher. That's so cool.
Oh my
you
God.
have your own secret place that hides you from like magical scrying effects and everything like that. And it just has to be an area you have access to, and it can be a part of a larger structure. Like they said, you have like a secret compartment in a library or something, so you could just set it up. You're just like I just imagine a character like goes to like a public library and just keeps going in for like a course of a week in librarian's like, I see them in here a lot. They just keep going back to the section. Go to follow them. They're just gone. They somehow like carved out a secret room in the back of the library. That's so funny.
Oh my God. I also like that. Imagine how useful that is if your campaign is like, all right, you got to take down this really powerful like vampire lord, and now you can like set up a thing in like his home country that he might not even know is there.
Yeah.
Perfect like player home introduction because of a single feat choice a player made. Oh, that's so fucking cool.
Oh, here's a really good feat combo as well. Slayer's Presence, their 10th level feat. It requires that you have the Frightened Undead ability that we just mentioned. Your very presence strikes fear into the undead. When you use Slayer's Identification, which allows you to get a free recall knowledge at the beginning of combat, you can frighten the undead as a free action, targeting a creature you identified. Anytime you get a critical success to frighten undead, if the target's level is lower than yours, the target is fleeing one. Now it becomes exactly like Turn Undead. You can literally send undead fleeing when you roll for initiative.
Yeah! This book is fucking great!
That's so cool!
Oh my God, that's so hype.
This book has so much flavor text for necromancy stuff as well. They also have, for characters that specialize in necromancy, they have new feats that you can choose from, like Oracle, Wizard, or Cleric, who have access to necromancy spells. You can get Undying Conviction. Your presence has a bolstering effect on your undead minions and undead creatures under your control. They gain a +2 status bonus to saving throws to resist positive damage, and will saving throws to resist effects that would make them become controlled. That's cool. Your very presence just reinforces your undead, making them slightly sturdier. Let's see here. What's Sepulchre Sublimation? It's a level 14 feat. You have to have the ability to permanently create or control undead, so you need the create undead ritual. And it has a requirement of you have at least one undead minion that you have permanent control over. You repurpose the negative energy that flows through your minions at a moment's notice. Instantly destroy one undead minion within 60 feet that is permanently under your control. If your next action is to cast a necromancy spell from a spell slot, you don't expend the slot. The spell's level must be half the destroyed minion's level or lower, and the spell can't have a duration. Oh my god! Necromancers, like high-level necromancers with powerful minions, can destroy one of the horde to just cast spells for free. That sounds like a cool boss mechanic, honestly.
Yeah, because then it's like also clear the ads, because now they're a resource for the boss.
Yeah, clear the ads, because the boss will fuck you otherwise.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That's really cool. They have a whole archetype dedication dedicated to reanimation. It's called the Reanimator. You must have the ability to cast Animate Dead with a spell slot. The dedication allows you to due to your dedication to the cellular arts of raising and commanding the undead. If you're a spontaneous spell catch with Animate Dead in your repertoire, it becomes a signature spell to you. That's pretty cool. In addition to your standard spells, if you're a prepared spellcaster with Animate Dead in your spells, you can spend 10 minutes to contemplate undeath and replace one of the spells you have prepared with Reanimate Dead or Animate Dead spell of the same level. In addition, if you're able to target the mostly intact remains of an appropriate type of dead creature with casting Animate Dead, the undead you animate gains a +1 status bonus to attack rolls, AC, saving throws, and skill checks for the duration. So you can get a better minion if you have the materials on hand.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty cool.
Damn, Paizo. Damn, guys. Like every book, it's like, yo, best book. How have they topped themselves? Don't know how they did it this time. Each fucking time. Damn, Paizo.
Ooh, here's another good one from this one. Master of the Dead. You have reached the pinnacle of the Reanimator's craft, the ability to raise nearly any corpse or skeleton as a gruesome mockery of the creature it once was. You learn the Shambling Horror focus spell, and you gain a focus point. Shambling Horror. It's a 3-action spell. It targets one corpse of a gargantuan or smaller creature. That has a level no greater than your level -4 and has died since last sunrise.
Huh.
The spell lasts for 10 minutes. You reanimate the corpse of the fallen creature as an undead minion under your control. The reanimated creature is an undead skeleton or a zombie. Choose a skeleton or zombie stat block of the same size as the original creature and of a level no higher than the creature's original level. The Shambling Horror keeps speeds it had in life, as well as melee strikes that deal only physical damage. Oh, these attacks use the highest attack modifier from the skeleton or zombie you choose. Some of the skeletons or zombies' abilities might not make sense for the Shambling Horror, and some abilities that the creature had in life might not persist in undeath. The GM makes the final choice on this. A Shambling Horror has the minion trait. You can't control more than one Shambling Horror at the same time. If you create a new one while one is already under your control, you must choose one to release, causing it to lose the minion trait. Shambling Horrors that have been released expire when the spell duration ends. After the duration expires, you can cast Shambling Horror again on the same corpse to animate it once more. However, the next sunrise, you can no longer use that corpse. That's sick.
Holy shit.
Best part about this, don't use a spell slot. You can reanimate a corpse without using a spell slot. As much as you want for 3 actions.
Oh my god. Yeah, like, actually, Wizard of the Coast, what's stopping you from being this?
Let's look at some of the new undead, because they actually added a bunch new undead to this book. And with that in question, there are higher, because there wasn't really high level on like skeletons or zombies before. So you can reanimate a wolf skeleton. There you go. Oh my god! A skeletal mage counts. You can reanimate a spellcaster. Oh.
Huh.
Ooh, a drake skeleton? Or a skeletal titan? If you're playing a level 17 necromancer, you could reanimate a gargantuan creature into a skeletal titan. Oh my
Jesus.
god. What new zombies did they add? Did they not add any new zombies?
They totally have had to. Come on. Like they better.
Okay. Yeah, there's zombies. Here we go. You can animate a zombie snake. Interesting.
That's what I always wanted.
Zombie owlbear! Look at this! Look at this art. This is sick. This one. Zombie owlbear.
Oh, ooh.
That's nutty. It even has a horrifying screech ability. But it's so good.
Holy shit.
Zombie Lord. Is this just a zombie? Yeah, it's just a smarter zombie. Zombie Mammoth! Yes! I love these zombies.
Oh my god.
That's so cool. Quick memorize the stat blocks to metagame. Trust me. If I thought my players were capable of such things, I'd throw much harder combats at y'all.
Holy shit. Well,
And the reanimator. Sorry, go ahead.
You're getting a lot of good material for your inevitable another undead theme campaign. 'Cause, you know, it's your favorite thing.
It's not my fault. They have so much undead stuff in Pathfinder.
I'm just saying, in any system, you always do an undead campaign.
Shut up.
You did get the undead dice.
I did not. You got them for me. And I didn't do one in D&D 5e, so yeah.
I bet if we did a 5e game, you would have.
No.
Yeah.
They don't have nearly as cool as shit.
That is true, actually.
But yeah, and the crazy thing is, the reanimator can reanimate like the zombie or the skeletal titan or the zombie elephant like as often as they want until the next sunrise. Isn't that nuts?
This is so fucking cool.
And I was ahead of the time because they added undead allies. I had a ghost companion in our Whispers in the Dark campaign, and they added ghost companions. They added the undead Eidolon, which is really cool. Summoners now have a really good reason to be necromancers. Man, summoners would make really good necromancers.
Oh yeah, they totally would.
You can now have a ghost bound to you as a companion, or a skeletal mount, or skeletal servant. You can have a vampiric animal companion.
Okay.
I think you have to be a vampire archetype to take this one, though.
Possibly. That would make sense.
It is a rare one. There's also zombies. You can have a zombie companion. See, now you can play the necromancer who has their undead companion, their undead summons with them all the time, and don't have to go through a lengthy ritual. And not only that, but because they're companions, they get stronger with you. You can have a zombie like this is Ted. I raised him when I was just beginning my necromancy, and Ted can fuck shit up if you're level 10.
Holy shit.
Isn't that great?
So cool.
They have undead specific familiars. You can have a crawling hand. That was telling me all about the crawling hand familiar. You can just have a Thing from the Addams Family.
Huh. Yeah.
You can have old friends. They have a little ghost of a dog here. He's so cute.
The best one.
Old friends can be a familiar. Oh, he gets the ability to he can fly, or they can fly, and once per hour they can cast second level and turn invisibility on themselves.
Oh.
What's a palong?
I have never heard that word before.
It sounds like an Indian, Central Asia thing. They're Polongs are wicked, invisible spirits created from the blood of murder victims, bound to glass bottles, and fed with the blood of their masters. You just have a little sanguistic ghost in a bottle.
Yeah, it is a type of spirit in Malay folklore. Is a prominent thing in Indonesia and Buddhist Hindu culture, or at least like mythology.
I got my mythology pretty straight. Yeah, that's about what I was thinking.
A polong is created from the blood of a murdered man, kept in a type of spherical bottle with a narrow neck. Over a period of 1 to 2 weeks, incantations are set over the bottle. When the period is over, the blood becomes a polong. It refers to the owner as its mother or father. Polong is hidden outside the owner's house when not in use. It is something you send to attack people.
That's pretty much what it is here. They're often used to possess and sicken their master's enemies. Polongs can't be found or acquired, only created, and in a process that can take up to 2 weeks. If a polong's bottle is ever destroyed, or if its master fails to provide it with its daily feeding of blood, the polong withers and dies. It's a familiar you have to feed.
Oh no!
Oh no! All the dead Tamagotchi polongs.
Yeah. A player has to manage more than one character sheet? Impossible.
Polong assassins. But it's a high level familiar. It's a really high level familiar. You have to have 8 familiar abilities to get it, which is really hard. Because like a lot of the classes that would be able to get it can't get that till like level 16. And it has a really cool ability called Polong Possession. The Polong attempts to possess an adjacent corporeal creature. The creature must attempt a will save against your class DC or spell DC, whichever is higher. On a failure, the Polong merges into the creature's body for 1 minute. The Polong can observe through the creature's senses, but is unable to control the creature. The possessed creature is drained 1 while the Polong possesses it. While possessing a creature, a Polong can ignore the distance and line of effect limitations from its anchor incorporeal ability. Incorporeality ability. When the possession ends, it immediately returns to the bottle if it's beyond range. That's really cool. It allows your familiar to essentially drain an enemy, which can be really good. And you can have a talking head familiar. That's great. I love that.
One might call them a psycho killer.
Anyway, Undead Master archetype. What's this? You gain the service of it's the Undead Companion one. That's really cool. So it's essentially, there's some really cool abilities here though. Undead Master Dedication gives you access to an Undead Companion. And and it's just like Beastmaster. Contrary to the usual roster companions, as an Undead Master, it's possible for you to have more than one Undead Companion at a time. However, only one of those companions are your active companions, so it's just like Beastmaster. But still, you have a repertoire of Undead Companions at your beck and call. You have to be an evil character to have this, though. Which is really rare. They actually don't have that very often. It makes sense for a lot of things, but this one I'm a little surprised about. But yeah, you have to be evil to have this one. And you gain the special call companion action. You can swap them out. Pretty cool. Guardian Ghosts. You magically divert some of the harm from an incoming attack away from you, forcing your undead companion to take it instead. Reduce the damage you take from the triggering strike by 2 plus your level. Your adjacent undead companion loses the number of hit points equal to the amount of damage reduced. If you have more than one adjacent undead companion, you choose which one loses HP. You can't divert the damage to a temporary figment from their master's call. That's really cool. So you can divert some of the damage away from you to an undead companion. And there doesn't seem to be, unlike, it also has the additional companion, mature beast companion, companion's cry, incredible beast. Yeah, so it has pretty much a lot of the same stuff from Beastmaster. just a couple extra things tacked onto it to make it specific. But yeah, you can. That's really cool having a companion that you can just divert some of the damage to.
Always handy. It's
always handy, especially
handy.
if you're an evil character with an unfeeling undead companion.
Exactly.
Let's see. Then they go into some of the undead beings here, or undead gods, and then they introduce what everyone's been talking about: the playable undead character types.
Yeah.
They added archetypes where you can play as a ghost, as a ghoul, as a lich. That one's really cool. As a mummy.
The mummy art is very good. That's a good, like, mummy.
Yeah, that's a really good mummy. I actually got it right here. What do you do if your army of undead companions unionize?
Panic.
It's your fault for giving them a free will. Just take their brains out, forehead.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be back in just a second.
But yeah, really good mummy art. I actually really like a lot of the stuff the mummy can do. Grave mummification. Exposure to the elements, magic, and alchemy and other phenomena intensifies the changes of your mummification process. You gain the advanced undead benefits. In addition, you gain resistance equal to half your level against any damage you take from your bound territory, including its dangerous temperatures, weather, hazardous terrain, and environmental hazards. A lot of these archetypes, I will say, have some limitations. Lich is obviously the most free-moving one, but I think like the ghost and the mummy have like areas or objects they're tied to. Ghoul, you have to consume flesh. So a lot of these options... Ghoul sounds really cool. Kind of like Swashbuckler, but instead of doing backflips and panache, you eat people. Yeah, for real. Yeah, because the ghouls are very swift creatures. They get the swift leap ability. They have all kinds of really cool. They can get paralyzing slash. A lot of these are really cool, though. Unlike a lot of other kind of archetype stuff in the game, a lot of these archetypes do come with caveats. Ghosts have ties that bind. Whenever you become a ghost, work with your GM to choose a bound site and unfinished business, both for which matter for your character's story, as well as some ghost archetype feats. Your bound site tethers you to the physical world and is typically either a location important to you in life or the place where you died. So you're bound to a location. You can change it if some other stuff kind of comes up as well, but it's not really meant for long terms of play. Ghouls are a little bit better at that, but they do need to consume flesh of a creature that's died in the last hour, or you start suffering from the hunger pangs of being a ghoul, because like when you consume a corpse, you devour a chunk of the corpse, you become satiated for an hour. You cannot extend that by any means, so you have to either carry flesh with you on hands, or you have to kill people consistently.
Oh my god.
The Lich is the most free form of them. It is a high level archetype, though. You also need the ability to have a phylactery and go through the ritual to create one. It's very lengthy, but it just doesn't have any other kind of similar restrictions other than the fact that, of course, you're an undead and thus are affected by things that affect undead. The mummy is tied to a very specific area as well. Yeah, you become supernaturally bound to the dominant terrain in which you were created, either because you form naturally from the weather or the terrain, or because of the local ingredients and methods used in an intentional mummification process. Choose Arctic, desert, mountain, or swamp. The choice can't be changed and may alter the effects of some of your other feats. So essentially you become bound to those terrains and you cannot live outside of them. But the mummies are very interesting because they're essentially like a Terra type undead that get special benefits from being in their locations. I think they're very interesting.
Some of these abilities look kind of cool.
Yeah, Storm Shroud's really cool. You become surrounded by a swirling storm of rain, sand, snow, or clouds, whichever of these suits your bound terrain. This activity has traits appropriate to the storm you create typically. Oh, you create typically earth for sand and water for rain, snow, or clouds. You become concealed for a minute. You can't use the concealment to hide or sneak as normal for concealment, as this makes your position obvious. Yeah. So you can just get all kinds of like terrain affecting abilities as an undead. That's pretty cool.
I really like Channel Rot. That's a fun ability.
Channel Rot. You've learned to channel your curse through weapons you wield instead of solely through your flesh. The benefits of your curse touch ability apply to your melee weapons you wield instead of only your fist strikes. We'll look at their ability, which is, where is it?
It's feat number 8. Essentially with a fist strike, you bind negative energy to it. There's a curse and disease. They take 2d6 persistent negative damage, and they're stupefied 1.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and giving that to like a sword or a bow, or like the mummy is definitely doing in this art.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's just an additional crit effect, yeah. That's sick. There's a lot in this book. They even have this skeletal heritage. So you can play as a skeleton. And I love...
My Divinity 2 fantasies can come true.
Yep. Is it a versatile heritage or just a heritage? No, it's just a heritage, yeah. Interesting. Undeath, yeah, the basic undead benefits, yada, yada, yada. But I do love the skeleton's heritages. Like, you can be a fodder skeleton. You could be one of the horde. Just imagine a skeleton gains sentience and leaves their master, and you're just one of the weak little like level 1 skeletons. Humans and those who are physically closest to them are the favorite material of necromancers. They are readily available, and their physiology has been studied the most extensively. So these skeletons can be easily mass-produced. Despite the name, fodder skeletons make rather mobile foot soldiers due to their efficiency and their transfer necromantic energy into the bodies. Oh, you're a faster individual. You have 30 feet instead of 25 feet.
Huh.
So you just start out being faster.
That's fun.
I like one of the feats, play dead. You lie prone and pretend to be an ordinary skeleton. As long as you don't move or take any actions requiring anything other than your mind, you appear dead. To see through your ruse, another creature must succeed at a check against your deception DC, either by seeking or recall knowledge.
It is divinity. It really is.
It is divinity, yeah. The creatures have to actively do this too. So they will not notice you if they have no reason to suspect you for this, I have to add. This ability doesn't work against creatures that already know you're an animate undead unless you've changed your appearance. I like that you're hiding from your friends or whatever. You just put a mustache in yourself and you lay down. Like, they'll never know it's me. I honestly, playing a skeleton sounds like a great, like, joke character.
It really does.
There's a lot of feats in here that are really, really good for it.
Bone missile.
Bone missile. They also get bone swarm.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, look at this little skeleton mage dude. Isn't he great? I love the swag.
Oh my god. He's got the drip.
He's like a little like gnome or halfling skeleton dude.
Also, the collapse feat, level 1. Collapse into a pile of bones, mitigating the worst of the damage you would have taken. You're flat-footed, but then Can't act except to stand, which reforms you to a skeleton. Just literally, someone slashes at you, you just break apart to like not get killed.
Oh, that's so cool. So you negate a critical hit essentially just by falling prone, is essentially what happens. That's actually really good. That's actually really solid.
Well armed. Well armed. You take off your arm holding your sword and then hold that arm to extend your reach.
Yeah.
This is a great heritage. Holy
It's so
shit.
good. Oh, and not only that, if your next action is to strike with that weapon, creatures that were outside of your reach that you can now hit are flat-footed to your first attack. They don't see it coming. They don't expect you to take your arm off and slash them with it. So they're instantly flat-footed. That's so good.
Who would like accept that? Like no one would like expect that. That's amazing. I love I love the skeleton heritage. It's so good.
Unfortunately, you couldn't use lunge with the well-armed or the additional. Oh no, it just says a strike. No, yeah, you could. You could strike someone from 15 feet away.
Yo,
as a fighter skeleton, just just super long stab.
Oh my god.
The vampire archetype is really cool. I mean, it's nice to actually have rules of players want to play vampires. This has a lot of cool things. Hey, they even have a daywalker feat. That's cool. Though you are slowed still when you're in exposure to sunlight. So there's still a bit of a caveat to that, but it's pretty good. Why did they have a random heritage in the middle of the archetypes?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
That's really weird. You can be a zombie, ankle biter. I love this. You fight just as well on the ground as you do standing up. While you're prone, you're always taking cover against ranged attacks. And you ignore the status penalty to your attack rolls for being prone. That's so good!
What the fuck?
And you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to athletics checks to trip.
What?
Oh my god. There's so many times being prone sucks because you get a -2 attack penalty while you're prone. And if you stand up, you might provoke attacks of opportunity. A zombie that gets knocked prone just becomes stronger.
Yeah, fair.
And you could choose to crawl half your speed rather than 5 feet. You could just go horror movie on people. Just crawling at people. Or you could move full speed, but you have to make a DC 6 flat check or your body deteriorates. What does that mean?
So it looks like deterioration. If you're deteriorated, you're slowed 1. You can spend 10 minutes checking and repairing your joints and other weak parts of your body to recover from deterioration. You can perform these repairs as part of your daily preparations because the normal result of your body's functions. You can't remove the slowed condition from deterioration through any other means. Yeah, so you just break apart and have to fix yourself.
Someone mentioned that vampire gets up to slowed 3 sunlight. If you're exposed to direct sunlight, you immediately become slowed 1. The slowed value increased by 1 each time you end your turn in sunlight. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you end 3 turns in sunlight, you become fucked.
Yeah. Do you take damage?
If you lose all your actions in this way, you're destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
But if you have Daywalker, you're not destroyed by this. You know, this is super fitting because I've been playing V Rising, and one of the big mechanics for the game is like a third of the day is daylight hours, and you have to zip between shadows if you want to do anything during the daytime hours. Though in that game, you don't become slowed. You just if you're in the sun too long, you just start getting burnt for massive damage, which might not be good because there's some boss fights that are really, really rough that have no shadow in them whatsoever. I do like the mechanic. It does make it a little hard, but I like having the extra difficulty. Oh, they even have a section for telling ghost stories. That's cool. And yes, for all you DMs out there who are looking for more haunts, more stuff to throw at your players in spooky locations, they've added a ton. They've added the bloodthirsty toy. Look at this teddy bear. He wants to murder you. Yeah, the toy lunges at you with a plus 14 to hit attack. Woof. And it does 2d8 plus 8 piercing damage. That's a level 2 hazard. That's devastating at level 2.
That's super cool.
These haunts are all really, really cool. They have complex hazards here, which, like, I would love to go into all this, but a lot of this, one, most players don't really understand how traps even function at base. It's mostly a GM side of things. And two, it's just numbers. A lot of traps suck ass is what I can summarize everything as. But a lot of these are really cool.
That's a sad thing, and I feel like a lot of systems, like, traps are just not very good.
These traps are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
These are cool. These ones are really, really good. The thing is, it's like, if I was to be like, oh, look at this, I can kill my players more easy with it. That sounds just like such a weird thing to talk about. Especially because some of them are just like, oh, this one requires a plus 40 trained perception check to notice siphoning spirits. You have to roll a 40 or higher on a perception check to even notice the trap. And then you have to roll a 48 on occultism or religion to disable this particular trap. Like, those are some nutty numbers. It is a level 19 trap, though. And then they have a whole section on making undead adjustments. You can add or take away certain effects to change their levels. This is really, really good in general. And if you're playing that same like reanimator archetype that we were talking about before, you could talk with your GM like, hey, could I make this enemy but give it these extra abilities? They might say yes, they might say no. If you want to use something like the Undead Mammoth, but you want to take away some of its capabilities to make it a little weaker so you can use it at a more reasonable level in the game, you could do that. This is all really, really good. They added a bunch. Like, let me swap over here to the scene so y'all can see. So here's the bar, and you can't see because it's a little cut off. It doesn't go, there's maybe like an inch above the screen here of where the rest of the bar is. So this bar here is about a third of the way through the book. The rest of the book are monster stats.
Yeah, there's a lot of monsters.
Countless undead. Most of this book is just undead creatures. Like the combusted. This is really cool. If anyone's seen Fire Force, you can make a Fire Force base campaign right here. Fire Force, like, one of the things about it is it's an anime. The world has this problem with people suddenly combusting and turning into monsters. And Fire Force is essentially a group of anime-style firefighters who have to deal with firefighting and killing undead creatures, essentially. Very interesting. Anyway, combusted, really, really cool. It has a blazing howl. The combusted screams in agony, causing all creatures in a 15-foot emanation to burst into flame. They just start combusting around it. Isn't that sick imagery? This, which deals 4d6 fire damage to each creature in the area. They must make a DC will save. It's not even avoiding an attack or anything like that. You are trying to will yourself to not combust when this effect happens.
Huh.
And a creature that critically fails becomes frightened 1. And this frightened condition is an emotion, fear, and mental. This frightened condition is an emotion, fear, and mental effect. So it does affect, or it doesn't affect other like undead that are mindless. They still burst into flame. They just aren't afraid of it, which could be terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the implications of that. A will save to avoid combusting. You have to will yourself not bursting into flame. That's horrifying.
Terrifying.
That's a really cool enemy.
Yo, what the fuck is the Darvaka? Holy shit.
Darvaka.
Yeah, go down just like 2 pages.
The Nightwing.
Yeah, oh my god, that thing's so cool.
Also called Narche are a ravenous evil made up of equal parts darkness and malice, originally created in the outer planes, who travel the convergence of the shadow plane and negative energy plane, where the power of nothingness obliterates them. These undead abominations are the physical embodiment of entropy. They burn with an intense hatred for all life, working to bring a final dark night to the material plane where nothing but ice and ash remain. Metal as hell. The Venafir is the Nightwing. The Sikavir. These sound like Slavic creatures.
Quite possibly. I'm surprised I don't know about them. I really like Slavic folklore. Just a Google search, it seems like it is a purely Pathfinder.
Paizo. That's fine. Yeah. I think that's cool. The Urveth, the Nightcrawler. This is a thing of nightmares.
Yeah.
Giant worm things with arms and eyes everywhere. It's also level 18.
Fair.
It's also a gargantuan creature.
The Death Coach.
The Death Coach, yes.
The Death Coach.
Is this? Yeah, they added a vehicle into this book. Your party could have their very own Death Coach to power it around. Cool. Isn't that nuts?
Oh my god.
See, Pathfinder, why do you gotta do this? Why do you gotta make me want to play level 20 campaigns? Just to have some of this shit in here?
Fiddling Bones!
Fiddling
I
Bones.
look so fucking... This guy's the drip. Go to 92.
Oh my god.
What a dude!
Orca? The Akorka is the flesh of a reanimated body, not the skin. Just all the muscles.
It's awful.
And the Exocorian is all the nerves and blood vessels. Oh, Fiddling Bones.
Look at this guy.
Dude is just sitting there drinking, playing to his heart's content. Wait, what the fuck? His hand's not even holding the fiddle.
Nah, he's got a wand.
He's got a wand and it's just floating there. What the heck?
Yeah. Yo, they have a song? A skeleton song? Yo.
I mean, when this comes up, I guarantee GMs are just going to put on the spooky, scary skeleton song when you're fighting the Fiddling Bones.
You better.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Send shivers down your spine.
Alternatively, you could always retexture this to be the trumpet skeleton. The doot.
Yep. The doot skeleton.
Doot.
Doot. Flux Wraith.
God.
What the fuck is a Flux Wraith? To cheat immortality, the rare spellcaster turns a potential temporal stasis magic, or even cryogenic technology. However, such methods are highly unreliable and often fracture the sleeper's soul across the time stream as their physical body perishes. Such an individual can rise as a Flux Wraith, an incorporeal undead with a kaleidoscope consciousness.
Huh.
That's some Call of Cthulhu shit right there.
Really is. Also, speaking of Call of Cthulhu level shit, the grappling spirit. Page 107.
Grappling spirits.
Page 107.
I love their Geist artwork. Look at this dude. He's got teeth so cool. Everywhere.
Also, the goal. I think the banished genie also looks pretty sick.
The Goldako is sick.
He looks so good.
All right, here.
Grappling spirit.
Ghosts. I'm getting there. Ghouls. Priests of Kabiri. A ghoul with a U instead of an O.
It looks so good.
The Luchador spirit.
Yeah.
A grappling spirit can grapple corporeal creatures despite being incorporeal. That's horrifying. Just getting body slammed by some invisible creature. They can put you in a chokehold. Submission lock. Teleporting clothesline.
Yo!
And they get a victory celebration. If the spirit knocks a creature unconscious, each creature within 60 feet that witnessed the victory must make a DC 26. Is targeted by a DC 26 roaring applause spell. Or they must spend all their actions until the end of the turn celebrating the grappling ghost's victory.
What the fuck?
Is look at this. It's like an Olympic champion. They got all kinds of medals around their neck.
And when they beat you, they'll get another. Oh my god.
And then everyone, even your allies, have to applause for them when they don't make a DC 26 will save.
Holy shit.
That's great. That's amazing. Oh, they go into Grave Knights in this book. Grave Knights are sick. Because Grave Knights are essentially high level, like, undead creatures that keep their sentience, and they're like the champions of undeath. And they can do some pretty nutty things.
I know I've heard the term before. Holy shit.
Fallen Champion. Hollow Serpents. I mean, it's just a big scary snake, honestly. Stat-wise, it's not that exciting. It's just a giant snake that's also undead.
The Ichor Slinger is a
Ichor Slinger.
Idea. A fun way to like spread plague in your game.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like a horde of undead attack a town, and the players just have what monster are we fighting next now? Creatures of all varieties and kind. Horde Lich.
Yo, the
oh my god. Lich. The Horde Lich is literally a walking horde of skeletons. It just peels skeletons off and they reanimate into small little servants that run after and attack you.
That's so fun.
That's really cool.
I never thought we'd get like different types of liches. It's always like the one, you know?
Yeah, that's why hasn't anyone done that before? Little man in the woods, look at him. Look at the little man. Yeah. He's horrifying.
The fucking just cryptid. They just
it's
made
a
level
cryptid. 6 creature. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, the Lorona. Oh my god, they're doing... I like a lot of these are like very... they're taking a lot of inspiration from cultures that you don't really see in tabletop.
Yeah.
Because Lorona is obviously La Llorona, the Spanish ghost.
The Weeping Woman. Whale, is this the same as like the Banshee effect? Nope. Oh, if you fail the check though for its whale ability, you become fascinated with the nearest body of water and compelled to move towards and drown yourself in it. Oh.
Yep.
If there's no nearby body of water, the creature instead remains still. The creature can attempt a DC 31 save at the end of each of its turns. On a success, the creature is no longer fascinated.
I'm not going to spoil it, but page 139 is really something.
All right, let's see. The Mordic. The Relictner Eroder? What the... Oh my god. Oh my god. Undead halflings are horrifying. Look at those feet. Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Pretty bad.
Ooh, new mummies. New mummies. Ooh, the Aurorian mummy is actually kind of cool. Oh, set. Oberasian. Ah, nice. Undead. Merfolk people. The Onryo. Pale Sovereign. Oh, yeah, the Pale Sovereign. This is another deity. Or is it not? It's not. Pale Sovereign's interesting, though.
At least it's a high level.
Oh, hey, the Palong.
Yeah.
Ah! Raw nerve!
Yep!
You're attacked by spooky nervous system.
It is formed when someone gets killed by electricity.
Is it incorporeal? No. There's nerves that jump out of their body. Oh.
It's fucking awful.
Ooh, Revenants. The Pale Stranger. This is a great enemy / possibly ally to have for a Revenant character. This would show up in a Deadlands campaign, the Pale Stranger.
Yes. Totally.
What sucks about this slug? How can you hate on this book?
It's the nerve. The raw nerves. I think they mentioned the nerve skeleton or something earlier. It is not fun to look at. In like the best way.
Yeah.
I will say also you can make Bunnicula if anyone remembers that book.
Yes. You can have a risen pet.
There it is, it's Bunnicula.
Oh, the skin! The skin! They animated it! No, those madmen!
They'll animate anything they can.
They literally... Devin was telling me about this before. Yep, Necromancers, the ultimate recyclers.
Like, literally any part.
Any part of it. They'll just dissect a corpse just to have multiple minions.
So good.
You're fighting a horde of enemies. It's all Steve. It's all different parts of Steve. I hate the raw nerve. You can make 4 creatures out of 1 dead body, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, the only restriction is, like, you just have to kill it with electricity first to get the raw nerve. And then just get the skeleton, the muscle, and the skin.
Here's the skeletal mage I showed before, or talked about before. The skeletal titan actually looks really sick.
So cool.
This is the weirdest fairy I've ever seen. The sloth. It's a level 10 creature, what the fuck?
Yeah, look at that thing.
It steals souls!
Yeah, that's why.
If it touches a dying creature or a creature that's died within the past hour, if the target is a dying creature, it must make a DC 28 fort save, or its dying value increases by 1. If the target is dead, it receives no save in the slot and imprisons its soul in its small, grimy sack. It keeps stolen souls fresh. There's a queen of them? What? That's not what I thought they would turn into.
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad too.
The Fae are messed up.
Level 18, big jump.
Level 18. Eat souls, can steal souls. Tormented, I love this art. It's really cool. The Torment is level 14? What the fuck?
Gotta get those high level undead.
They get different abilities based on how they die.
Oh, that's hype.
And the Unrisen. Oh. Oh my god, the Unrisen are weak to being resurrected. If they're resurrected, they're instantly destroyed. They just come back to life as they are, and they're like, ugh, gone, dead. The Jiangxi, which are the like Chinese style vampires. Ooh, look at this dude. Vitellorana Emergent. He's got a big head.
Ooh.
I think he's a vampire dude? Yeah, this type of vampire. More vampires, and apparently they have this new subtype of vampire called the Vitellorana. They're emotion vampires.
Oh my god, yeah, those things. They're called, it's a thing in, I'll air quotes, our real world, psychic vampires. They just like are people that just drain the life out of things, like emotionally, by being around.
So are they just not undead vampires? No, they are undead. Yeah. They're just vampires that feed on emotions instead of blood. And turn people to husks. Ooh, the Veridite, yes! Undead plant creatures. Oh my god. Oh my god! The Seatongeist?
Giant whales.
Bloated corpses of marine life encrusted with bleached coral and wrapped in rotting seaweed.
Well, I know what's happening in your next session, dude. Your next, like, Riptide one.
Yeah, right. We're gonna fight the Seatongeist. Oh
Good
my
luck,
god.
players. It's level 12.
That's a horrifying enemy. You could really, honestly, Pathfinder, good job, good shit. I could see making a whole ass, actual, like, feeling, Call of Cthulhu based game, just using Pathfinder rules. You'd have a Pathfinder 2E game that feels like a Call of Cthulhu game with some of these.
For real.
Love the zombie owlbear. Zombie lord, zombie mammoth. And then they talk about some of the areas. They talk about Geb, the city of the undead. Or the nation of undead, I should say. They talk about even their education system, the Gravelands. I'm so excited. The Gravelands book. Is the Gravelands book the Knights of Last Well book, or is there still another book for that? I actually don't know. I think the Knights of Last Well is the Gravelands book.
I certainly don't know.
I don't know
much about the lore stuff.
Oh, cool! They even give you an undead campaign in this book.
Oh shit!
This is a good ass book.
Good job, Paizo. Damn.
This is a really, really good book. I mean, at this point, are we even, like, surprised? They constantly come out with bangers left and right. We literally talked for 2 hours just looking through the book. That's how good it's been.
No, like, it's the thing of keep thinking, like, all right, damn, Paizo, how are you going to top this one? Oh, you did it successfully.
Every time. Every time.
Oh, impressive.
Let's see. I think it's a setting book. Yes, I do believe the Knights of Last Well book is talking about the Gravelands, maybe? Or maybe not, I don't know. Because I know they were coming out with a book for the Gravelands specifically. And the Gravelands is really cool. They have the Impossible Lands coming out. It's not in their rulebook section, is it? Dark Archive! Dark Archive comes out at the end of July.
Ooh, what's that one gonna have?
That's the new one with the 2 new classes, the Psychic and the Thaumaturge.
Yo!
It's gonna be a really good book.
I'm very excited for that.
It's a really, really exciting one. And they're gonna be talking about here. Let me read the From the fringes of the unknown beckons, Pathfinder Dark Archive contains secrets that any player or GM can use to reveal the paranormal lurking in Pathfinder games. This spine-tingling secretive 224-page hardcover book presents two new character classes, perfectly delving into the unexplained. Unleash the untold power of your mind as the Psychic, or leverage supernatural secrets and mystic implements as the Thaumaturge. They add cryptids. They add new cults and esoteric beliefs. They add temporal anomalies with archetypes that skim along the surface of time, and a new mystery for oracles.
Holy shit.
It's gonna be, yeah, it's pretty much like the Dresden Files of the book. So
that's pretty cool.
It's gonna be really cool.
I know, like, next to nothing about Dresden Files. That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, goodness
damn,
gracious.
Paizo.
Yeah, dang, Paizo. Why
damn, Paizo.
Hit so hard, man. My wallet can only take so much.
Holy shit.
It's really good. I mean, we just have, you know, so much material to give and to deliver. And I'm so stoked. Again, like what we started with, it's just kind of what we end with. There's so much you can do. So many characters you can make. So many games you can run. Just reading this book alone, I got an idea for like 5, 6, 7 different characters.
Yeah,
like,
I have a few character ideas now.
and
really, character really ideas that are now actually possible. Like,
yeah,
made possible.
That's got to be really exciting when you have a character idea, but you just haven't found the right rule set for it, and it finally drops in your lap.
It's fucking nuts.
So good. I'm personally super excited. I wish I had infinite time, right? I wish I could just run so many games in a week.
God, I know, right?
If I didn't have to make videos.
Yeah.
But, like, there's so many ways to have really good fun. Honestly, even in this book for our Riptide game, I got some new ideas for different events that could happen now. Because, you know, ocean-based stuff and undead in the ocean go well together, surprisingly. Oh, goodness. So many cool NPC ideas, too. Oh, my brain, it hurts. There's too many ideas. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm tired.
Yeah.
There's so much energy to be like, oh, cool.
Someone always is with these books.
For real.
It's just like you get so hyped about all this new shit, and you're like, damn, I'm drained.
Yeah, it's just like, just not enough time in the day dedicated to everything. But
yeah.
With that, I think we're gonna go ahead and end for the stream today.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much for coming. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know we came to the party a little bit late. It's just, I didn't get the book as early as other people. I don't have the subscription service. I don't want to add another, like, fee onto what I already provide onto my household right now. Anyway, for stuff I have to keep up. So, you know, for now, until Paizo comes up and be like, hey, we see you've been making content here. Make some content on our stuff. You know, like, until we're at that level, we're just going to have to just make do with what we can get. And I've this book has been very good. It's very exciting. Lots of new ideas, and more books are coming out. This summer is going to be a banger. The Knights of the Last Wall book is pretty cool from what I've heard. So we might take a look at that one at some point. But, you know, one of the big things about it is there's just a lot. And Pathfinder is just going to keep pumping out books. Eventually, the game's just going to get bloated. And people are going to love it. People are going to hate it. I just hope that people still enjoy hopping into the game and using the core stuff, and they don't feel overly pressed to, like, get all the content. Like, I hope new GMs aren't coming in and being like, oh, I got to get 15 books to get into Pathfinder. Like, you don't. Trust me. Core book, advanced player's guide, you're good to go. That's all you need, really, to get set up and started. Then you can start making those investments. And the investments will each be worth it. A lot of the books are so good.
And even then, like Archive of Nethys, Path Builder, I think another thing's coming out for like computers for Pathfinder. Like that kind of thing. There's a lot of ways to get into it without being a muddy sink.
Yeah, I hope Alcat Games come out with a Pathfinder 2 version of their games. Or a new Pathfinder 2 adventure. I would love it. I love the rules in Pathfinder 2e. I think they're really good. And I think they would translate really well into a video game. So, fingers crossed. And thanks, Christopher. Yeah, we start every Thursday, 4 p.m. So, if you want to catch us, we start, Pacific time, 4 p.m. Every time. We go about 2 hours. VODs are also going to be up on the YouTube as well. And, oh yeah, I guess I should mention, if you're watching up until this point, or you're watching after the fact, thank you all so much. Please like, subscribe, follow on your platform of choice. We stream on Twitch and YouTube, as well as we have a Discord down in the links below in the description or below on Twitch, where we talk about all things tabletop. Players come and ask me about certain things all the time, ask for various ideas for their games, characters, NPCs, and the like. We also have a very good Warhammer 4K community growing too, which has been pretty fun actually to watch. And
it would grow even more if everyone voted for us to do Wrath and Glory next time we do our one-shot thing.
Maybe. We'll see.
I want that. More 40k nerds, please.
For sure. We'll be doing next Monday our Vampire the Masquerade game. So that's going to be very exciting as well. It's a pretty fun game, and I'm very excited to show it off on the channel. And of course, we'll be having more archetype videos coming out on the channel. So if you want that, please, again, subscribe so you get a more likely chance to see that. And there's so many archetypes. A lot of them are really good. I actually really like doing this series. Just because I get to take a deeper look at some of the archetypes, and I found out some of them are really good. The Archaeologist video I just produced recently. Actually, Archaeologist is really, really good.
It is.
You would not think so.
I've looked into it for a character once. It's really cool.
You get a lot of utility out of it. And like, if you have a very serious combat character, it's a great free archetype to pick up to round your character out and make it so you have more stuff to do outside of combat and exploration and all that kind of stuff. You become the ultimate trap finder. You get so many spells for free. Like, it's really, really good. So I highly recommend checking out that video. And you can tell, compared to some of the other archetype videos, it's a little bit longer. So yeah, it's definitely worth the worth the look. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and say good night for the evening.
Good night.
Good night.